Our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free.
President Donald Trump made some big promises in his inauguration speech, and he also said we're entering a, quote, golden age of America with him in charge once again. And then he unveiled executive orders, a whole bunch of them, with his priorities for his second administration. So let's talk about it. We've got two CBS News political contributors here to break it all down, what it means for the next 4 years. Joel Payne is Chief Communications Officer for Move On. That's a liberal advocacy group. And Terry Sullivan is a former presidential campaign manager for the brand new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Good morning to both of you. Terry, let's start with you, because we had Marco Rubio on the show earlier. We asked him about January 6th, the pardons for 1,500 people who participated in that riot at the Capitol. He did not want to get into it. He said he's focused on international matters, not domestic matters. Never mind what he had to say about January 6th back when it happened. But I think January 6th is one of those topics where popular support for the pardons is actually not there for the president's actions. And I wonder, what does it say to you as a Republican to see him take it up so quickly and so controversially?
Well, first of all, Marco is always better at answering questions than I am, as he would like to point out to me in the past. Look, here's what it says, is that America knew exactly what it was getting when it voted for Donald Trump. And he did things he said he was going to do, which I think is a juxtaposition to what Joe Biden did, which he said for years that he wasn't going to pardon his son Hunter over and over again, and he did it. And so I know those two things are different, but President Trump went out there and said exactly what he was going to do, and that's what he did yesterday.
And Terry, do you expect members of Congress, Secretary of State Rubio said, look, I'm not a senator anymore. I don't have to get into this. But everyone else there who's still in office is going to be asked. Do you think they're going to comment on it, or are they going to back away?
I think some will. I think most won't. Look, folks want to look forward and talk about real policy initiatives, the agendas, the things that President Trump signed yesterday that legislatively. I think those are the things they want to focus on.
Joel, I'm curious about what you're thinking, because President Biden pardoned members of his own family just moments before he was about to leave office, while the Democrats are complaining. Do you think they have a leg to stand on with this? Because they're saying, well, Biden did it, Trump did it. It's almost like people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Gayle, I think one thing the Democrats and Republicans agree on is that the pardon power is probably misused by both parties. I think that President Biden understandably made a decision that politically is untenable, and I think it's hard for Democrats to get behind. But let's not miss the fact that what Donald Trump did yesterday didn't make any community safer. The people who are going back into these communities who were a part of January 6th, particularly the ones who were a part of violent actions on January 6th, don't make any community safer. They don't make our country stronger. They don't make us more united. They don't make eggs cheaper. It doesn't make any sense, and it certainly doesn't sound like a revolution of common sense.
And Terry, I want to follow up on that. When it comes to these executive actions, what could be lost in all of this are some of those promises that were made, ending conflicts abroad, securing the border, and then lowering cost of living, groceries, gas, and just housing. Do you believe that is realistic to accomplish all of these things and execute these things in the midst of all these executive actions?
Well, look, he's trying to, and those are some of his executive orders, calling a crisis at the border, and ordering the deportation of these violent criminals who are here illegally, and the crisis with energy to lower fuel prices. These are things he did, and I guess that was my point earlier, is that, look, he's taking real policy initiatives to make things better for America. Like Joel's talking about. We agree on that. Those are the things that Americans care about, and that's what he is focused on.
When Donald Trump got into office the first time, Team Trump was it was sort of a trial by fire. They didn't have government experience. That has certainly changed. They have a whole lot of experience, and they're approaching this second Donald Trump 2.0 in a very different way. I'm curious how both of you feel about the Donald Trump then and the Donald Trump now, and what it's going to mean for America.
Well, Gayle, I'll start. I don't know if it's Donald Trump that's as different as much as the atmospherics are around him. He is the same bull in a china shop. He is the same political figure in terms of how he goes about things. I think things around Donald Trump are different. The Republican Party is more MAGA. You look at that Republican Senate, there is virtually no resistance. There was a lot of resistance 8 years ago. You look at the country. The country did this election move towards Donald Trump politically with what he branded. But, Gayle, Donald Trump branded a populist thing in this election that I'm not sure if he's actually going to make good on. I mean, in the second row of the inauguration yesterday were the richest men in the history of the world, ahead of his supporters, ahead of people who were duly elected. I don't think that that's what his supporters signed up for. So, yes, the atmospherics around Donald Trump are different, but political gravity does still apply when you mislead people about what they voted for.
Yeah, you're right, Joel. A lot of people noticed that, they had better seats in cabinet members and Supreme Court justices. Terry, we have to wrap it up, but I'm curious how you would answer that question.
Yeah, look, he had the innovators of the world in there from around the world come there and be there for his swearing in. This time he's a new president. Last time he was the dog who caught the car and a little bit surprised that he ended up in the Oval Office. This time he really is the commander in chief and has a unified party and a unified country and a decisive win, and he's going to get things done.
All right, Joel, Terry, we appreciate you joining us. Talk to you soon.